This week on The Big Room. That was the part that blew my mind the most.
I look over to her and she's jaw on the floor. Just, I'm Mr. Cold Miser. I'm Mr. Snow. And she's like, what is happening?
What?
And he's like, see. It's so good. It might be my favorite part of the entire movie. You could put Arnold Schwarzenegger in anything. I just love Arnie. Welcome back to The Big Room. This week, we watched a movie. Now,
A movie.
ladies and gentlemen, Citizen Kane,
Start your engines.
Casablanca, The Godfather. These are movies that capture the essence of what cinema can be. Batman and Robin is not one of those. This is the worst.
What cinema shouldn't be.
Yeah. We watched Batman and Robin, 1997's Batman and Robin. It is the fourth film in Warner Brothers' initial Batman film saga.
Yes.
It is the fourth of four.
Yes.
There's supposed to be a fifth one. I'll get to that in a
There
minute.
is
Oh
not.
boy.
Didn't happen.
Thank
Did
God.
not happen.
Now, these movies are divided kind of between two sets of directors. Okay? So there's the Tim Burton films and there's the Joel Schumacher films. And there's a little bit of crossover, and I will explain it now. Mainly for Nick, who has not seen any of the other movies and kind of texted us in a panic. I'm about to start this movie, and I just read it's the fourth one. Yeah. Were you confused?
Not at all.
Because they're not connected at all. Kind of.
Yes, but not because of other movies in the series.
Okay, so in
More on that later.
In 1989, the first movie came out. Tim Burton
Okay.
directed
And
it,
Taylor Swift was born.
and Taylor Swift was born. Coincidence? I think not. So, 1989, the movie was called Batman. Simple, clean, elegant. We love it. Michael Keaton starred as Batman. The primary villain was Jack Nicholson's Joker, which is a great Joker in my opinion. He does quite well. Is he Heath Ledger? No. But
I
it's,
also really liked the girl in that movie.
yes,
I don't remember her name.
me either.
Clearly,
So-
she made an impression, but I remember her performance and her character was good.
So, as background for me and Danielle, personally, I got into a Batman kick earlier this year because Batman Begins was on TV, and I'm like, I'll watch that, and then The Dark Knight, and then I'm like, let's watch the Burton movies. I haven't seen those in over a decade. So we watched all three of the first three movies, which is 1989's Batman. There was a sequel in 1992 called Batman Returns. Michael Keaton was still Batman. Danielle and I didn't really like that one, and that's kind of the one of the four that's kind of put on a pedestal.
I don't understand
People really
why.
like Batman Returns, and they like it for its villains. Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. And it doesn't have a lot of Batman in it, if we're honest.
I can't imagine Danny DeVito as Penguin is
So-
good.
Really?
He's got 3 fingers on each hand, and he's slimy and gross.
He's so slimy.
very
so
odd.
slimy.
It's very odd. I didn't really like it.
And his hands, so they're in gloves for a while, but then he takes the gloves off and like it's just skin penguin hooves.
It's gross.
I don't know why I said hooves. Fins.
Penguin hoofs.
They look like hooves to me, but they're supposed to be fins.
So it was a little darker of a Batman movie, and the studio hated it. Warner Brothers was like, no. And Warner Brothers and Tim Burton parted ways. They mutually were like, bye. However, Tim Burton stayed on as a producer and like a advice man. What the hell do you call this?
Advisor.
Advisor? It was so close. It was right there.
Advice.
Advice, man. I like that
mean,
better.
Producer and advice man.
very clear.
Bring me the advice, man.
For the third movie, which was directed by Joel Schumacher, who we have brought in for the second 2 movies. So he also directed the movie we watched, Batman and Robin. They removed him after the box office kind of underperformed for Batman Returns, as well as the darker tone of the film, which was deemed inappropriate for children. Now, they also changed their Batman to Val Kilmer. I like the Val Kilmer Batman.
I did too.
I think he was a decent replacement for Keaton.
Yeah.
In some ways, I like him a little more than Keaton, but those are ways that I cannot quantify, and I will not speak on that any
He
further.
had an air about him. It just
He was a cool Batman.
felt right.
The villains were Jim Carrey as the Riddler, which is hilarious, and Tommy Lee Jones as a very cartoonish version of Two-Face, and they
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
they hated each other.
Who did?
Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey.
Really?
specifically. He called him an unserious actor, and he hated his antics because Jim Carrey kind of method acted the Riddler a bit, and he's a goofball.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, Harvey Dent was in the first film, Batman, but it was played by Billy D. Williams of Lando
Nice.
Calrissian fame.
That's
And the
very different.
He departed, or was recast rather, once Tim Burton was removed, and then they brought in Tommy Lee Jones. Now we have Batman and Robin, which is the film we watched. Val Kilmer did not return again,
Sad.
so we
Should've.
are 4 movies, 3 different Batman actors. We have George Clooney, which is a choice. This movie, the primary villains are Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, and Robert Swenson as Bane. Who, when I first watched this movie as a kid, I thought Bane was like inflatable. Nah, just a guy on steroids.
Yeah.
He's just a huge man. And he died 2 months after the film was released of a heart attack because
Oh,
he took
shoot.
steroids
Oh,
for like
man.
20 years.
I don't even remember what the guy looks like. Could you see him for like 3 seconds?
Yeah, he's mostly
and then
in
he's
his
masked.
mask thing.
Well, it's not him as Tiny Bane. He's only Large Bane because he's a giant man on steroids.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I guess that wouldn't be the same actor.
Now, Joel Schumacher, the director for this movie and Batman Forever, also directed a movie that you love called The Phantom of the Opera in 2004.
Really?
Same guy.
That's wild. Also, but it kind of makes sense actually. Men in masks, dark.
Sure.
That's about it.
Now, this film was released in Los Angeles on June 12th, 1997, and widely on June 20th. It had a budget of between, once again, we have another range. I don't understand. Of between
Maybe it's a
100,
superhero thing.
125 and 160 million, which is a huge gap.
They're
once
keeping
again.
secrets. What are they hiding?
It earned 238. I said 20. Gave everybody a heart attack. It earned 238 million at the box office,
That's not. I
which
mean,
is not.
Could be worse for
could
this
be
movie.
worse.
I read it
Yeah.
was a box office disappointment instead of a bomb.
But what about the merchandising?
I don't even know. So
Because that's what this movie was for.
that is what this movie was for. It took in 42.8 million in its opening weekend, which was the third highest opening weekend gross of 1997, behind Men in Black and The Lost World: Jurassic Park. It was the highest opening weekend for Arnold Schwarzenegger until 2003's Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines, and it was George Clooney's most successful opening until 2013's Gravity.
Wow.
And he hated this movie.
I feel
Not
like he
even the
hated
like
it.
Ocean's 11's movies.
No.
That's what I said last night.
Nope. Not until Gravity. The movie declined 63% by its second week, which was due to bad reviews and early competition from Face Off, starring Nick Cage and Travolta, Disney's Hercules, and Men in Black, all that
So good.
released like within the 3 weeks before and after.
Okay, didn't Titanic come out in '97?
No idea. And I'm not
that's
going to look it up.
Oh,
earlier.
okay.
But
That would have been the highest.
But it didn't
grossing.
mention it. And if I did read it, I
Interesting.
probably would have deleted it from my brain because DiCaprio's in it.
Leonardo
and
Well,
so
I think
bad,
that
bro.
would
I,
have been.
I don't like DiCaprio. I just don't.
Young DiCaprio hits different. Before he was old.
He's
True.
got
gross.
stupid hair. He's got that
It's
90s,
it's
that 90s center
90s.
part. I don't
Jonathan
like it.
Taylor Thomas hair.
It's the '90s.
Yes, but did the Titanic
It
sink in
was
the
the
1990s?
90s.
No.
Did the Titanic sink in the 1990s?
No.
No, it did not. Next question.
1912.
Oh, I see your point now. Carry on.
Were you thinking
Fashion is cyclical.
1900s?
Well, no, I thought you were at.
The 1890s.
Never mind.
Okay.
Moving on.
This is considered to be one of the worst movies of all time.
Yep.
Nick wanted me to mention that it has an 11% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Which
It
is
seems generous.
Now,
yeah.
what that means is, of all of the like official critics that submitted a review to Rotten Tomatoes, 11% of them were positive. So it's almost worse than an actual percentage rating.
Yeah.
Only 11% of critics didn't shit on your movie.
That makes it more surprising for me.
Future Batman films were canceled, and there was also the Superman movie that was supposed to come out around this time was also canceled. Not because of this, I don't think, but
Was that the one with
Nick
Cage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ew.
Future Batman films were canceled, including Schumacher's planned sequel to this movie, a 5th movie in the saga
Man.
called Batman Unchained, which is a metal title. Like that's metal. Batman
Has-
they
Unchained.
could have
we-
redeemed.
Ever seen Batman in chains though?
So
Like,
here's what it was.
Jen-
That's how the
Django.
movie starts.
movie-
I
like
can
Batman
explain the
Unhinged.
title because there
Okay.
was almost a script.
Okay.
Clooney, O'Donnell, and I forget the Batgirl's actress.
Oh my God, Alicia Silverstone.
They were all
Love
set
her.
to return until the reviews came out and Clooney said, "I'll never play Batman again." But
He said, "We're not going back."
It was set to feature Scarecrow as the primary villain, and also Harley Quinn as a twisted version of Harley Quinn, where she would have been the Joker's daughter, because the Joker, spoiler alert, dies at the end of Batman 1989. And the Joker was going to return, though, as a hallucination of Batman, and like Batman and Harley Quinn were going to drive him insane and send him to Arkham Asylum. And the Unchained thing is the film's crescendo was going to be Batman goes to a cave in Bali and is surrounded by bats, but just kind of chills, proving that he's thrown off the chains of his fear of bats. Dumb, stupid. Dumb.
Boo.
But also kind of in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Kind of in Batman Begins.
But cooler. 'cause
Also,
it's
there was
cool
there was a
Batman.
deleted scene in Batman Forever where Batman fought a giant bat in the Batcave.
No.
Yeah,
Honestly, though, I want it.
that you can watch it.
Was it supposed to be Man Bat or was it just
It's
a big
just a
bat?
giant bat. I think it was just the hubris of man making a big ass bat for a movie that didn't need a bat.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Now, clearly, obviously, this franchise, Batman as a franchise, is put on ice until Batman Begins in 2005. And
on
I
ice,
think
nice.
it's a damn miracle we ever got a Batman movie again. Because wow. Now, I ended last week's episode, whatever movie we watched, The Incredibles, last week, by warning you two specifically, because Carl had seen it, although it had been a long time, that this movie is dog shit. Were you adequately prepared for how
No.
bad it was?
I knew it was going to be bad, but my God, the first line of the movie when he's like, "I want a car. Chicks love cars."
Oh God.
What?
This is why Superman works alone. I'm George Clooney. Like
That
dumb,
the
dumb.
second I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, this is so much worse." I know
Yeah,
this
I
is going to
wasn't
be so
prepared.
much worse.
That's what got you, and not the copious ass and nipple shots on the suit.
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
open
yeah.
the movie.
Why did we need
The
two?
snap
That
shots.
was funnier for me because of the Deadpool parody.
Right.
So
They-
having seen that in order, it would have not worked. But I was
They
just
did
like, oh,
all
that's
but
hilarious that
smack
they're
each other
referencing
on the
that.
rear. All but that. And then they do it to Batman and Robin, and then an hour and a half later, they do it to Batgirl when she suits up too. It's like chest, ass, Batgirl. It's crazy.
They
Insane
didn't give her
movie.
nipples though.
It's-
Those,
No nipple. I didn't pay
That's
attention.
it
sexist.
was bad.
Yeah. You
They
didn't
were
pay
bad.
attention.
So not Michael Schumacher. He is a Formula One driver. Joel Schumacher, the director for this movie, was given a direction by Warner Brothers, which is this is the only movie of the four that does not involve Tim Burton at all. At all. Although you can clearly see his
Still
influence,
feels Tim Burton-y.
chiefly in the set and landscapes.
Yeah.
You can feel the Burton influence. If you watch the other three movies, you'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. This clearly exists in the same universe.
You know what this felt like? This felt like watching Bible Man.
Oh.
This felt like a
haven't watched
VHS you grabbed from the church, like
The church library.
video library. Yeah. Like it just the lowest budget possible. Like you could have cut the budget in half just a second ago, and I would have believed you.
Yeah.
You could have cut the runtime in half, and that would have been
Oh
good too.
my god! I thought the first
in
half
2
of the
hours?
movie's pacing was okay,
Ugh.
and then it got kind of boring at the end there. Just,
It just
way
did
too
so
much. Yeah, way too much.
Did we need that motorcycle race? Like,
No.
No,
it's just ugh.
a lot of choices, but
so many choices.
so Warner Brothers
Ugh.
kind of was like, okay, we've had some gritty ones, with Batman Returns, Batman Forever. In fact, that's why Tim Burton got the boot after Returns. Too gritty, like I mentioned earlier. And the studio told the director, we want this movie to be more, here's a word for you, toyetic. They wanted they
Toyetic.
wanted toys out of it, basically. We want to be able to license this shit out, so make a cartoon movie, essentially. And that's, I think, a large
That
portion of
explains a
why
little
it
bit.
feels so camp and odd, and why the suits are so weird. It's just a weird. So, yes, clearly the script is atrocious. Clearly the direction is atrocious. But I don't 100% chalk it up to the director's fault because A, he did Batman Forever and that movie's kind of fine. And he's done other stuff like Phantom of the Opera, which is also fine. So the studio deserves and should get at least some of the blame here. Not that old Joel deserves to get off scot-free because, oh my God. But it's not all his fault. There was studio direction to make the movie this way. and to,
Interesting.
cater it towards kids. They actually lost a McDonald's toy deal after Batman Returns because it was so dark and weird with Danny DeVito. Like
Was
they
it
had
that dark and
well,
weird?
I just don't know, but that like McDonald's had Happy Meal toys made, they pulled them
Wow.
after the movie came out. They're like, nope, not doing it.
Crazy.
So they really wanted to push the franchising, and they had 2 box office they didn't do as well. The first one did great. It did amazing in the box office, and then that success was never really replicated with the next 2 films. So they were like, well, let's do a Star Wars and just make 1 million toys, and we'll get money that way. And then the movie sucked so bad, they shot themselves really in both feet. You made a movie to sell toys, then you made the movie bad because you wanted to sell toys, so you sold no toys. Although I did have some toys from this movie.
Oh,
look at
what you got?
I had the Batman action figure, but the suit from the end when they all match. So like the silver and the cowl.
Did it have nipples?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I
Like
thought I missed
silver
something with that
abs.
costume change, and I was like, oh, I guess it just happened off screen.
like,
I thought I missed something, but now it's
Batgirl
just like, oh, this is
happens.
another.
She breaks
Yeah.
into the cave and they're all like, neat. Trains
He
done.
was like, it's me, Bruce. I was like, yeah, no shit.
She knows who we
You just
are,
have a
Robin.
mask on. I was like, oh my god.
It's time for me to say something nice about the movie. And I'm going
you
to.
do it.
Here's
Okay.
what I like about it. 2 things from the movie design. I like Robin's logo. I think it was kind of cool. It's scanned as a Robin, like it looked birdish while still being super thin and sleek and cool. It overlaid with Batman's logo really well to give us a Batman and Robin thing. I
Nice
liked
little lockup, yeah.
the Robin logo. I also like, and this is a stupid thing to like, but I like it because I don't think many Batman films after this did this well, the height of the ears on the cowl. I liked that. And I'm looking at you, Batfleck, for your little stubs. I don't like it. Don't grind down Batman's ears to make him more realistic. Stupid. Give him tall ears. He's Batman.
bat.
It's ridiculous. Let him have tall ears. I like those 2 things.
I kind of alluded to this a second ago. The only part I was confused at, and this is just me not knowing Batman and Robin at all. What is so special about Robin?
Okay.
I decided to not look it up, and by the end of the movie, I still couldn't answer the question.
So this Robin in this movie is supposed to be Dick Grayson. So there's like 3 or 4 or 5 Robins in the Batman like zeitgeist of Batman. Largely the comics. There's multiple. Some of them die. Some of them leave and start their own thing, like Dick Grayson ends up doing in the comics. I believe he's the one that's Nightwing. Huge caveat for listeners. I'm not Forrest. I've not read Batman comics. I'm what he would call a bad Batman fan. I'm a filthy casual.
You should be embarrassed.
But this Robin, so to give you background, the short answer is watch Batman Forever. So there are.
He was an acrobat, so like he has acrobatic skills.
Okay.
Yep. So
That's
his
about
whole family was a family of acrobats, and in the previous movie, the family gets killed by Two-Face and the Riddler, I believe.
One
is-
of- yeah.
one of those.
One of those-
And he
one of those
survives.
guys.
Batman ends up like stopping the attack somewhat, and Dick Grayson ends up bringing Dick Grayson under his wing as his ward. It's way more complex than that. The movies are super dumbed down and oddly changed from, like, for example, Batgirl should be the commissioner's daughter, and I didn't get that impression in this movie. She's Barbara Gordon in the like comics and
Well, yeah,
cartoons
she's
and stuff.
Alfred's niece in this one, right?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be. Should be Commissioner Gordon's daughter. So there's weird changes like that. And as is with all film
Sure.
interpretations of everything comic book related, because, you know, you're squeezing hundreds of issues down into 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's an acrobat. He has pretenses for being flippy and kicky and stuff. He should be younger than he is. You know what I mean? But he eventually ends up, Dick Grayson, I believe, being Nightwing.
Gotcha. I also didn't realize that his name was Dick, and I thought George Clooney was just
Berating him.
yeah.
Daniel and I had the same conversation last night. No, his name's Dick Grayson. It's his real name.
It just feels so abrupt, like,
Yeah.
and it's not like a good name. Like, it's not a good name. It's like, yeah,
It
Dick.
is
Why
kind
don't
of a
you suck it up?
jarring name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't flow. It's very Dick.
Yeah.
It's abrupt.
It's an odd choice.
Weird. I don't like
It was
it.
maybe better in like the 50s.
Maybe. But just go by Richard. I don't know.
Richard. Batarang, please. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Also, Robin's kind of an odd.
Well, you can't call him by his superhero name.
It was Robin. It's a weird super. It's feminine. Effeminate, if you will. Robin. There are just women named Robin.
Spelled with a Y, though.
And, you know, like in the Adam West, for example, he's in like tights with no leggings. So he's just got his legs, his pins are just out. It's like, what's happening?
His pins are
Maybe he's
just
just a
out.
little feminine boy. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
His pins are just out.
Let's talk villains.
Oh god.
Villains.
Let's talk villains. So we have 3.
I actually really liked 2 of the villains. Nobody is having more fun in this movie than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
It's true.
He's having a blast.
I have a point about that I can jump to, but first, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I'll come back to it. So yeah, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. He's clearly being Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the best. I mean, he's awesome. I think
Making all the puns.
I think he
So many puns, dude.
did pretty good for Mr. Freeze, unless you've watched the Mr.
He's
Freeze
selling it.
episode of Batman the Animated Series, which I encourage everyone in here to do
I
and
did
everyone
watch it.
listening to do, because the Mr. Freeze storyline in this movie is an adaptation of the cartoon storyline, which is significantly better, significantly more touching, just way, and more tragic as well. It is a masterpiece of animation storytelling. It's incredible. I cannot stress enough. I mean, yes,
Yes, it was a nice palate cleanser from this one.
it's so good. I wanted to
It was
watch
a good
it.
chaser.
I wanted to have her watch it last night. We were so dog tired
And
after
sleepy.
because you left your phone at the office and we had to go get it
Oh,
before
yeah.
we watched the movie. Hilarious.
Whoops.
In the bathroom,
In the bathroom.
as one does. So
Well,
we-
I do take my phone in the bathroom at work because I mean, who doesn't? But I had taken all of my stuff into the bathroom. It wasn't just that.
because you were leaving.
I was leaving, made a little pit stop. I don't know how I took everything but my phone. Whoops.
Phones.
I've been there.
Phones. Yeah, I left my work phone too.
2 phones
Both
just sitting on
phones.
the counter, free.
Yeah.
Free phones. So we had dinner and went and got the phones and then came back and it was like 9 o'clock and we turned this 2-hour movie on
Whoopsie.
and did
Oh,
not
God.
have the brain to watch another 18-minute cartoon episode, but it's super good. It just, if you watch it, you'll be like, oh, yeah, Mr. Freeze is really good.
Way more stoic.
Uma Thurman is Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman. So this is the point I was going to make earlier, but I wanted to kind of bring up the animated episode. Uma Thurman is one of the actors in this film to me that is the most let down by the script and direction. Her line delivery is atrocious, and it is not because she's a bad actor. We've seen Kill Bill.
This
She's
was
great.
after Pulp Fiction.
This was after Pulp Fiction, dude. She's a good freaking actress. She's in a bad movie. And it's interesting to me that you put Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie and he's just so ridiculous and that you're like, cool, man. Arnold's in this movie. He's smoking a cigar that's cold because
cigar.
you can't separate
I don't remember that.
you can't
But that
separate
sounds awesome.
Arnie from his stogie, dude. He's gonna have it. I cold cigar for me in the movie to be nice. And he's like watching the Miser Brothers Christmas in
Dude,
his
that
lair.
Sing
for me.
That was
do it.
God.
Louder. It's great. I love it.
that was the part that blew my mind the most.
I look over to her and she's jaw on the floor. Just, I'm Mr. Cold Miser. I'm Mr. Snow. And she's like, what is happening?
What?
And he's like, sing. It's so good. It might be my favorite part of the entire movie because he's just digging it. And then also, like, similarly, when he's watching his wedding video and the one dude comes in with the paper about like Bruce's diamond and he freezes him and I hate the when they talk during the movie. So good, dude. You could put Arnold Schwarzenegger in anything. I just love Arnie.
Yeah, you'll like it.
But I think that he's so like hammy and he's by 1997 almost like waning in popularity. Like all his big movies happened in mid-late 80s, early 90s.
True.
So at this point, he's almost a caricature of himself, I think. So he scans. Everybody knows exactly what they're buying, or what's for sale, rather, when Arnold is on the screen. So you can get away with And his accent helps too. Like the shitty script, just kind of he can work with it. Uma Thurman though,
And he's like a machine.
She had a weird accent.
she's just.
Did she?
It's just.
It seemed to fluctuate.
I didn't pick that up.
Like her accent.
Sometimes it felt southern.
After the like accident where she got her powers or whatever, she come up out of the ground with a different accent. It was like almost British.
Okay.
It's like transatlantic and southern sometimes. It was weird.
Okay.
She was committed though to the camp. Like she fully leaned into it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So,
she
kudos for
didn't
that,
look.
but-
Now you know who didn't. I have a
Clooney?
Yeah.
Ugh,
He was just boring in this
so
movie.
bad.
Yes. Let me read what I wrote when I was watching it. I wrote in general. I kind of started with the dialogue is so incredibly wooden and bad, and then I was like, you know what? Especially from Clooney. Somehow they made a movie where George Clooney is completely devoid of all charisma.
Yep.
Yeah, no charm. Especially as Bruce. It was just the same character as
Exactly.
Batman and Bruce. It was like, what are you doing, man?
And like Chris O'Donnell is cringe personified, like 1990s
the Robin guy?
Yes, 1990s cringe personified. But he's that way in Batman Forever, and
Yeah.
it's the 1990s, so you get some forgiveness there from me. But
it
George
reminded
Clooney,
me of like Dawson's Creek. I've never seen that show.
Oh, yeah.
But just that whiny, like, that's what that whole performance reminded me. I hated their like,
It's
you
90s
think
bad
she's
boy.
hot, and I think she's hot. Like
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna butt heads over. Like it's such a ridiculous.
also he looks.
Like,
I don't know how old he is, but he
Please
looks,
say you're here for me.
He looks 27
oh
years
my
old.
god, that was so dumb.
What?
He looks like 27 years old to me.
How old? How old was he?
No idea. Won't look
Supposed to
it
be
up.
like a kid. Like
But yeah, it's just weird. But yeah, like you said, Nick, I said like Robin was cringe, but George Clooney commits a much worse crime. He's boring.
Yeah, zero personality.
He's boring, and it's Clooney,
Yeah.
man. Well, now
I couldn't figure.
we realized
So I,
last
was,
night
I couldn't figure out if it needed to be more camp. Sorry.
Where's
You go.
podcast?
Yeah.
Really quick, we figured out last night we just haven't seen a lot of movies with Clooney in them. Like I haven't seen the Ocean's movies. I've seen.
I don't know what I'm missing.
I've seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I think I just know Clooney from like the cultural zeitgeist of George Clooney. But he seemed just shitty in this movie. He's boring,
Yeah.
uninspired, flat,
Phoned it
bland,
in.
Point. I don't know what I've seen.
awful. And it's not
He felt like he was too cool for the script.
and it's odd because Batman's not.
Like you said, Batman's stoic, and I was like, but this wasn't stoic. It was just dead.
He's
Just
got
that-
charm though. He's got a stoic charm. He's like if you turned RDJ's Tony Stark like way down. You know, like RDJ oozes sex appeal. Batman is much more reserved in that, especially as Bruce. Like he's quick, he's witty, but he's reserved and then with the cowl, you know, he's as Batman, detective, genius, confident, and Clooney was just it's like a
We barely
bore.
get any detective too.
Yeah, well, we don't in most Batman interpretations. That's why I like the Batman so
Yeah.
much. 2022's The Batman or whenever that movie came out with Pattinson, if you will.
Check
What
out
were
our
you-
episode
what were
on
you
it.
trying
I
to
was
say?
gonna. Well, it kind of ties into because like I couldn't figure out if it was like too camp or not camp enough. And I think what was I was like maybe camp is kind of determined by the performances, and so you have like Uma and Arnold both like fully leaning into the camp, but then you have like two very wooden like disinterested performances with Batman and Robin, and that kind of like knocks it off balance, I think.
Because
But the rest of it is like it goes so far in that direction, but then they kind of like hold it back, and it's like doesn't seem like it figures out what it is.
Well, the other films are camp too. Like if you watch Batman Forever, you have Jim freaking Carrey at peak Jim Carreyness, being just Jim Carrey in green pajamas as the Riddler.
Yeah.
And then you
But
have
he's leaning
Tommy
into
Lee
the camp.
Jones, who is doing his damnedest to buy in and be over the top. And knowing Tommy Lee Jones, you can actually kind of tell while watching the movie that he hated doing it. Like you can kind of feel it. And Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman,
But he
is
used that for the
awesome and
performance,
it's
you know.
different. Like
It's like
everybody else, all four movies have very similar-ish feel, and then this one just hams it up to 11, and it really doesn't scan. And then combine that with you have the flattest Batman I think ever committed to the silver screen. He's awful. George Clooney is the worst Batman ever, and I will stand by that. Like I don't like Christian Bale's Batman at all. I think he's not a very good Batman.
Well,
I
it's
don't
certainly
get the voice.
better than this.
He's not a detective, but you know it's more grounded. I'm not certain that a super grounded Batman is the best Batman, although the Batman is very grounded as well. For example, I do kind of respect the Adam West Batman-ness of some aspects of this movie, particularly, and this is bad and dumb, but particularly the heel click ice skates.
Ice skate.
Oh my god.
Like, it's very 50s, 60s Batman.
Yeah.
It's dumb camp, like it's shark repellent on the belt kind of deal. And they do the full, like they literally pan to the feet and go, and it's stupid as hell. And I fell out laughing. But you're like, there was an era where that was Batman. And then later on, they're flying out of Mr. Freeze's rockets on boogie boards made of parts
my
of the
God.
ship in the
Dude.
air. And it's like, all right.
What was the plan there? Either like he's
I-
gonna shoot up into the sky and then fly back down.
He
Like,
was going to shoot him high enough into space that it was going to freeze him to death. But also, he has a freeze gun.
Well,
just shoot him.
no, the rocket,
yeah.
the rocket was
he
a
only
bomb.
restrains his arms.
The rocket was a bomb, so it was going to go up, freeze Batman, and come back down, blow up Gotham, from what I understand.
Okay.
but
I
what's
could
he
be
gonna
wrong.
drop onto?
Gotham.
That's already bombed.
It's a big ass
And
bomb.
just try to
Oh,
land on
Mr.
rubble?
Freeze. I have no idea. He had a cool wingsuit
Yeah.
though.
There's no way that's aerodynamic.
One of the least aerodynamic human beings
The
on
fully-
planet Earth, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dude, physics did not exist in this movie, though.
I wrote
Oh
that
my
down
God,
too, and they're wildly inconsistent as well. So like the jumping and kicking and flying and throwing was very
The
floaty
throwing
for the
was-
actors.
yeah.
But then you had other instances, like there are several instances where Mr. Freeze's gun gets like swatted out of his hands, and it would instantly stick to whatever it landed.
It was
on
like a
as if it was
magnet.
Velcro. Yeah. So it's like, okay, are we floaty? Like, is the gravity on people like turned down 20%, but the gravity on Mr. Freeze's gun is turned up to 100%? Like, I just didn't quite understand. And the ice hockey scene, like, I get the 90s, we had a ice hockey moment. You know, we had the Mighty Ducks and
God.
all that jazz, but like, I don't know. I'm not gonna criticize the movie for that because it's looking at a 1990s movie through a 2020s lens, and I was only 2 years old. I didn't in 1997. I didn't get to really experience the 90s. I'm a very, very, very young millennial, but man, like yeah, it's just kind of jarringly inconsistent, the physics and stuff. It's just there's really. I just don't know.
There was also one scene towards the end where Robin was in the water, like in front of Ivy's whatever got her there in the end that she was setting in.
Mm-hmm.
The Venus flytrap.
The Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That I thought killed her, and then later she's arrested. And I'm like, oh.
Curses. But no, Robin at one point is in that water and he comes up out of the water and then they just reverse the footage and he goes back down.
yeah.
Like you can tell like by the way the water moves and just the way he moves. Like this is, you didn't even try.
Well, there's ways to do that right, though, because in the original Star Wars film, the Tusken Raider, after it, like right before it knocks Luke Skywalker out in the first like half of the movie, it does the chant where it does this. If you go back and watch that, the footage that was filmed, he only raised the bocce stick or whatever it's called above his head. They rocked that back and forth in post.
Really?
And if you look at it knowing that, it is really choppy. But if you're not looking for it, it scans. So you can do stuff like that right.
But why?
But they didn't do it right with Robin because it's like the this is a reference for two people in this room. It's like the Charlie back hard draw video. You know what I mean? Like when you rock things back and forth, it just doesn't. David will get that reference, but it just doesn't scan. And they did it in a way that just doesn't work. Now, so there are two actors in this movie, only two, that appear in the other three movies. The Robin is in Batman Forever. We talked about that. There is the anchor character of this universe. The Alfred is in all four. And how did you guys feel about him as Alfred?
Budget Ian McKellen was the vibe I got.
Okay, I like that. Legendary actor in his own right, but that's interesting. Carl, what'd you think? Specifically compared to like Michael Caine, for example. Michael Caine.
Oh man.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say what I say. I think that I like this Alfred most. I think
Really?
I like him more than Michael Caine. I know that is blasphemy. Put your pitchforks down. I think that
They're in the comment section.
I loved Michael Caine as well. Let me make that clear. But I think that Caine's Cockney accent kind of detracts from the upscale, like sartorial elegance of Alfred. Again, my like my peak Batman is the animated series, and that Alfred is more like this Alfred. Very upscale, kind of sleepy almost.
What did you think about Alfred in the Batman?
The Batman?
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
No.
I don't like Andy
I thought
Serkis,
he was too young.
right?
It's
No.
Andy Serkis is one of those characters that I love his work, specifically in Lord of the Rings. I mean, my God, the
Sure.
man's a legend. But I didn't think he was quite old enough, and the retort to that would be, well, it's a young Batman. Sure. I get it, and I'm willing to accept that. I don't know. I think I wanted just an older guy, an older, more prim, proper, very elegant London accent kind of guy. And Serkis
Yeah.
is young, live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't. Was honestly one of my harshest criticisms of the Batman. A movie I loved was the Andy Serkis Alfred. I wasn't super big on that. So as far as live action Alfred's go, I think this is my guy.
Interesting. I don't think he's in this movie enough for me to have an opinion. Like, I haven't seen the other three. So
Well, Alfred shouldn't really be there a whole lot, but
yeah,
he's.
I didn't hate it.
I do think the first three films are kind of worth your time. It's just really the other thing that makes these
Jim Carrey has my interest.
so difficult is that after this we got the Nolan trilogy and
Yeah.
we have the Batman now, and we have. I mean, I don't want to mention the animated series again, but we have the animated series. We have Batman the Brave and the Bold. There's a new Batman that just came out, animated show, and I cannot remember the name of it, but I am very interested, and I think it
Wait, the new one on Prime?
yeah.
I just started it. The animation's a little weird for some
Well,
of it.
and it, I think, is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Batman the Animated Series, which I'm super into, which means it is kind of in the vein of Batman Beyond.
The Two-Face I didn't like the design for, and that's the guy in the first episode.
Okay. The Two-Face was also
just
kind of interesting in the animated series too, so I'm interested to see how if it ties in. Yes. So I want to mention. I actually kind of brought this up that the I don't necessarily blame Joel Schumacher for all the criticism. There's a Chris O'Donnell quote I wrote down. He was quoted as saying, "Things felt much sharper and more focused in Batman Forever." And it just felt like everything got a little softer on the second one, this film. The first one, I felt like I was making a movie. The second one, I felt like I was making a toy commercial, which is pretty scathing.
Yeah.
And then John Glover, who played Dr. Jason Woodrue, who's the scientist guy that makes Bane, he said that the director Joel would sit on a crane with a megaphone and yell before each take, "Remember, everyone, this is a cartoon." It was hard to act because that kind of set the tone for the film. Just,
Yikes.
it was destined to fail
Yeah.
from the outset. And I kind of feel bad for, I mean, we talked
the
about
cast.
Uma Thurman. George Clooney, I think he's just sucked in the movie. But, you know, it's not all his fault either. Imagine being handed this script.
George Clooney has also like multiple times apologized for this movie.
Yeah, he actually, like I mentioned earlier, he was penned to be in Batman Unchained. This movie came out and he said, "I will never be Batman again."
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He was never Batman in this one.
He was just a man in a suit, dude. There's a scene of him that made me crack up laughing, and it's right when he captures Freeze the first time. So it's the jump scene when he
Oh my-
shuts off
the
Robin's
dinosaur?
motorcycle
Okay,
and
okay.
jumps the Batmobile and like flies through Freeze's windshield. And then he's like standing over Freeze, like just standing there, and Freeze is on the ground and he's just standing there, and you're like, does he think he looks cool? Does the director think he looks cool? Did the studio think he looked cool? What's going on? He's just
Is he breaking
standing.
the fourth
He's
wall?
just
What is he
standing
doing?
there menacingly, like he's all but T-posing over Mr. Freeze. It looks so dumb.
man.
Is that when he's just like, "I'm Batman"?
I don't-
No, God,
He
that
like
was the
introduces himself.
word. Yeah.
When was that?
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
Hi, Freeze.
like he's at some fucking after work social party or something. Like
He's got his name tag. He
so
points
bad.
to it. Batman.
Pulls out his credit card.
I'm Batman.
Oh my God, the
God.
credit card.
Good
Unbelievable.
forever.
Okay, before we get into
Good forever.
before that was a reference to Batman Forever because
Yeah.
it had his name Batman and then Forever on the other side. Hilarious.
So bad.
Awful. I had
Even
a
the
quote.
cash register like effect sound. It's like what the fuck?
Dude.
My favorite line, one of my favorite lines for the movie, and I want to ask y'all's favorite lines too, is and this is the moment that sticks out in my head the most from the whole movie, and it is the last Poison Ivy scene.
Robin goes, I'm going alone. And he splits off from Batman and he goes and tracks down Ivy. He's been hit with her like love pheromone a million times. But he's kind of on to her, I guess. Like it's not entirely apparent how the pheromone works and how like locked in Batman and or Robin are at any time. Like are they fully trapped? Do they have some of their faculties about them? You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like
It works because nobody
have all
stops her
these-
when they see your hand like this for 12 seconds.
right. But, and they have all these confrontations and arguments about like I want her, you want her, I want her, she wants me, blah blah blah. But then he has the wherewithal to do the rubber lips, which is the
Oh my
stupidest thing. That's the moment that I think I
Rubber
saw
lips
this at
are
like
immune to your charms.
right 12,
like-
13, or 14. I saw this movie, and when the rubber lips are immune to your charms, I remember. Even as a young kid who shouldn't really be able to tell what movies are shit or not yet, I remember being like, "Oh, this is a bad movie." but I still love that moment. Part of me just does. Like I'm like, that's a stupid moment, but it's just so no single line in the whole movie encapsulates the spirit, tragedy, and horribleness than rubber lips are immune to your charm as he peels that shitty latex off. That is the
Still within kissing
defining
distance.
It's the defining moment of the film. So
bad.
awful.
But
Now
you know what? I didn't see it coming. I didn't know where it was going. They kissed and I gasped. It's like, he's gonna die.
Gasp.
she saw it coming because unfortunately every
He's
time
told me about it like 47
to
times.
try to get her to watch the movie, I'm like, it's so bad. Check out this line. So I have some questions for us discussion wise.
Yeah.
Where does this rank for you guys among the worst movies we watched? Is it worse than West Side Story? Is it worse than Gone with the Wind? Where do you put it? Like, obviously, like, I feel like Hit, or Miss is a foregone conclusion. This movie sucks ass.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of fun still.
It's
Especially
fun.
the
That's
first
what I
half.
was-
The first act, even.
So I was about to say, because like comparing it to Gone with the Wind, that movie was just bad and sad
Well, that's a
And
marathon.
long.
and long and depressing. This was, yeah, at least fun to watch. It was relatively quick.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind is like running a marathon barefoot on a road made of nails. It's awful.
So bad.
And West Side Story is just. I'm sure people like that movie. I think they're bad people. That movie sucks.
It upsets me so much that as a musical person, I don't like it because I see so many people be like, I love West Side Story. And I'm like, why don't I get it?
I think that they.
Why don't I get it?
Those people just want to be better than you.
That's probably
they
true.
cannot be serious.
That's probably
people.
true.
You cannot honestly look me in the eyes, cross your heart, and hope to die, and say I love Gone with the Wind, unless you're Caitlin Reed's mom. I'm not gonna say anything ill about her mom, but dude, that
Yeah.
movie's trash. This movie's bad though. It's one of the worst movies I think we've watched. I think it's bottom 5.
Yeah.
We also just have better Batmans to compare it against, so that like knocks
I
it
mean,
even further
any
down.
Batman, anything
Yeah.
is better than
But like
this.
we don't have other Gone with the Winds to like be like, well, that was a better Gone with the Wind, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know
Plus we
if
have,
it's bottom 5 for me because I really hated a lot of movies
I mean,
last year.
we hated West Side Story.
Like I didn't like this
Gangs
isn't
of
a
New York pisses me
Oh
off.
my god. This movie, like, yes, it was bad and dumb, but it didn't give me that same visceral hate that like Gangs of New York did or
God, I hate that movie.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
Carl. What was that movie Carl made us watch? Superbad?
Superbad.
Super bad.
oh,
That movie blows.
This
movie's
Superbad's
great.
way better
What
than
was
this
the
movie.
other ones? I know I hated more movies.
I don't know if I agree with you. I think I'd rather watch this. Super.
I will never watch this again.
Labyrinth. What about Labyrinth?
Labyrinth.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
like Batman a lot. This reminded me a lot of Labyrinth because Bane is like the
Blade
smell guy.
Yes.
Yes.
I said
Like-
smell 100
Like,
times.
and something about the set design too. It felt very like stage, like they were gonna do a Batman like on ice or something, and then they were like, no, let's make it a movie instead. And he's like, I guess we can retrofit it. Like, I had to watch
Ivy-
this movie in like 3 settings, and like the first time, like after they did like the ass
just shut it off.
shots,
It's like, no
I was
more.
like, I am not high enough
That
for
is-
this, and like I had to wait for
That
like
is
an hour.
38 seconds into the movie.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, well, as soon as he's like, this is why Batman works slow, and I was like, I was not prepared for the tone of this. Like, this is like, I'm like, not ready.
I tried
But
to
yeah,
warn
I
you
just-
so hard.
Yeah, and I thought like I think it would have been 20 years ago that I'd watched this.
Oh,
so like
easily,
it's
yeah.
all but forgotten basically, and I was just like, wow, this is. And also, what the fuck are all these gigantic statues doing in this city? Like
that's
they're, like
that's carryover from the first 3 films.
insane. Like
That's
that's
just
where all
Tim
the tax
Burton's
dollars
set.
are going.
Yeah.
Crazy.
This is why your tax.
Well,
Well,
dollars
it's
are
because
going.
they can build those big statues because they actually tax billionaire Bruce Wayne appropriately.
Ooh.
Now, I've not seen Dark Knight Rises, and
Which irritates
I
me.
refuse to because
It's not bad.
it's the same reason I haven't seen Incredibles 2. I love Incredibles 1 and I love The Dark Knight so much. I don't want anything after them. So it's just purely to be like, that's perfect. I don't want any more. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way Dark Knight Rises can be as good as Dark Knight to me. So I just don't. I don't want to be disappointed with it. It's probably great.
But being
I don't
disappointed
think
doesn't
you'll
make
like it. I don't know.
listen,
The Dark Knight
listen,
worse.
listen.
It's still just as
listen.
good.
It doesn't have to make sense. It's just
You
how
wouldn't listen to an album and love an album and say, I'm never going to listen to this band again.
I don't listen to Reliant K's last 2 albums because they're not
'Cause
as
they
good as
suck
their
so
first
bad.
like 17 million album.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are bands that are treat like that.
Yeah.
There's Prada albums. I have their logo tattooed on my body, and there are Prada albums where I'm like, that's bad. No, I don't want to listen to it. So yeah, same.
All right.
Now, not ones that come out that I'm like, With Roots Above is perfect. I don't want to listen to 818. You know what I mean? Like, I've listened to them all. So I guess it's not a fair comparison, but like, no, I don't know. I just don't. It's compounded by the fact that I don't like movies. But
Fair.
I can't, for those of you who have seen it, I cannot imagine a greater gulf than the one that exists between the 2 iterations of Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
I don't remember.
And in
Dark
Batman
Knight
and
Rises.
Robin. Like,
The iterations of Deadpool.
yeah, I bet it's that. I bet it's nearly that wide. Like, this Bane at one point is a chauffeur in a trench coat and fedora.
Yeah.
What?
When he first was
Huh?
like getting created, Cameron was like, "Do you know who that is?" And I was like, "No, should I?" And he's like, "Maybe." And
Well, the
then
mask went on.
he
I'm like,
kept-
now you're in.
the mask
right?
went on, and I was like, I still have no idea who this
Same.
is because I've only seen Tom Hardy with his.
That's a different
Thingies,
interpretation.
you know?
And he's not big enough as Bane. Like, he's a big
But
guy.
more realistic.
That's not what
he's
Bane's supposed
like
to
a
be.
guy.
True.
Bane
big
is supposed
guy.
to be like the Hulk dude, like just a huge dude.
But he is smart, which at least that movie got right.
Yeah, this movie he's
He's supposed to be like more of
literally
a tactical, like
repeat stuff. He's just like Bane.
Yeah, there's one
Okay,
scene where
Mark.
it's Bane and Ivy in the car when he's driving. She's like, "Step on it, Bane." He goes, "Grr, step."
Yeah.
Cracking me up.
He's just like the ultimate meathead. I find the Bane endearing because he's so ridiculous.
Just feel like they did him a little dirty.
Did this movie do anything right for you? Was there any part of it you liked? Any part of it you enjoyed?
that set design was really, really well done.
Okay.
Was
This is
it?
our, this is our say something nice
it?
portion of the show.
I mean, like Ivy's lab is really cool. There's a lot of like really good set stuff. but, you know.
Here's the thing. She was over there doing stuff with plants at the beginning and didn't know what was going on the other side of the wall.
Yeah,
Like
it's
he's
odd
doing this
that-
giant experiment, has guests over. Like
It's odd that she was like, he doesn't let me in there, but the door was just open, like just unlocked. She could've
he
gotten
didn't
in.
hear. You didn't hear the man screaming.
Yeah.
Well, it was
Apparently
weird.
not.
They did drive home the.
Sorry, we're supposed
very
to
nice
talk
though,
good
Nick,
in
yeah.
this part.
Yeah, what's your good? What do you like about the movie?
I'm trying real hard to think.
I
Someone
can
else.
go. I was on the villain's side for a lot of this. Like, I'm on Mr. Freeze's side with his wife. Like, he just wants to come up with a cure for his wife.
Yeah, but it's in his arm the whole time.
Yeah,
Nope,
it wasn't
nope,
strong enough.
No, that was the early stage cure. He didn't have, and they still
Okay.
didn't have enough tech to advance the serum enough to cure the late stage McGobble syndrome or whatever the hell she had.
But I'm
The
also on
MacGuffin
Poison Ivy's side for a bit. She takes it too far with the whole destroy humanity. But initially, I'm like, yeah, plants.
Yeah.
We need more respect.
Yeah, she's an uber environmentalist, and
So,
that's
forbid him on her
true.
side.
That's true
Yeah.
of all versions of Ivy that I've seen, at least in the cartoons.
I liked her
and manga.
If there's
costuming.
one takeaway, if you got a goal to save the planet, don't be so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Marketing.
Don't. Yeah.
Marketing.
Branding is everything. Yeah.
Okay, Nick, you got a nice thing to say yet?
I'm just gonna. If you don't have anything nice to say,
Don't say anything at all.
All right, moving on.
Wow.
I will say, especially if once again, if you liked the freeze thing, we'll watch it.
it made me laugh, for maybe the wrong reasons, but it made me laugh.
It made you laugh.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's a nice thing you can say. What is your favorite line?
My favorite line.
I'll go. You want me to go first?
I've got a couple here.
Thought
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
rubber lips.
No. Okay, that is. But I wrote another one down because at the very end of the movie, there's the telescope. Right, Mr. Freeze is taking the telescope
Yes.
and he's using it to freeze the city.
Yes.
The telescope like starts falling down, and one of the telescope scientists says, "It's one of those days," which is an insane thing to yell before you die.
It's one of those
The dude is
days.
literally like falling off of multi-story. He's like, "It's one of those days, man!" Like,
I hate the Mondays.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's insane. You're being Garfield about dying. That's nuts.
yeah.
I mean, any of the ice puns. Let's kick some ice.
Yeah, chill.
Stay cool, bird boy.
Revenge.
Do you have a line?
The only line, so I wrote down a lot of moments. I didn't write down a lot of lines, but one line I did write down, and I think it's Robin and Batgirl. I think when they like fall out of the telescope thing, what should we do now? Pray.
Yeah.
And it was just delivered so pray. I can't even do it. It was so just flat and bad, and I was just like,
I did kind of hate Batman's, like when she introduces herself as Batgirl, and he's like, it's not very progressive.
PC.
Yeah, PC.
Yeah.
He says PC, and I'm like, in 97? I don't know why.
it just
Wow.
felt. It felt
What
weird.
about Bat Person or Bat Woman? And I'm like, gross.
It's like, okay.
Boo.
Oh,
Like
God.
the
You're
fact
doing it
that you're
wrong.
saying this in this tone makes me want to hit you.
Yeah.
It's it's performative.
God.
Like it's what a right winger would do, and that makes me hate it a lot. It's my least favorite line from the movie, in a movie full of shitty lines.
What
Joe,
about,
oh, Nick, go ahead.
Tonight, hell freezes over.
That was good. This is a good pun. I like that.
I was actually I wanted to see how many puns there were, and I googled this, and it says there was 24 puns, but there's no way there was not more.
There was like 30 some that were just ice related.
Yeah, I googled how many puns, and it said 24. I'm like, that cannot be right. It was like every other line.
If you would like, there's a condensed version, compilation, if you will, on YouTube. You can just watch all the freeze puns.
Nice.
It's like 5 minutes
That's
long.
just the
Nice.
My
movie.
favorite pun was Adam and Evil. I was
Adam
like,
and
okay,
Evil.
yeah, that was pretty good because it
That was
wasn't
good.
ice, it wasn't plant. I was like, it was kind of a new, fresh pun for us.
It could be Adam and evil.
Yes, so ridiculous.
great.
My favorite Batman line is, "Listen, Dick, why do you think she's so desperate to kiss us? I bet her lips are poisoned." Like, what a leap to go to.
You said there wasn't detective work. There you go.
Yeah, I need to show your work there because I'm like, what? How did you put that together?
How
But,
did you solve for
yeah,
X?
I bet her lips are poisoned. Like, so stupid.
Unbelievable.
Oh man, this movie.
All right. That's really all I have.
Yeah.
That we
I'm sorry
haven't
about
really gone over. I had more questions, but we went over them
What
mid-thing.
whatever happened to Batman's girl?
He never
Well,
She just kind of fell off.
She's just living her life somewhere.
Not the first girl. There's a couple in the previous ones.
I mean, there's a different one for every movie,
There certainly is.
which made me sad because I liked the first one and then she never came back.
Nope.
I guess her name's
Hey.
Kathy? Katie?
Hey, that happens in
Something like
Batman Begins, The Dark Knight too.
Well, it's the same character. It's
yeah.
just a different actress.
Different actress. Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me as
The
much
Rachel
because it's
changes.
still Rachel. So,
I will never like that voice. I'm sorry.
Rachel.
I won't ever like it.
what's
Jinx. Hot points?
hot points?
Do you have any? Or something resembling it?
Yes. So, I didn't really write down any hot
Chris O'Donnell's so hot.
Ew, no. No. If he was, like, his just whiny baby attitude, just immediate negative.
We're
Not,
10 years too young to be crushing on Chris O'Donnell,
Yeah.
unfortunately. What he seems like to me is a reject for the cast of Fred in the Scooby-Doo live-action series.
He reminds me of
Live
the
action.
guy that
Yeah.
plays Arrow
yes.
mixed with
Stephen
like Anthony
Amell.
Jeselnik.
Stephen Amell's way hotter, though, than Chris O'Donnell.
All right, we interrupted Hot
Anyways,
Points
it
again.
was
Sorry.
you guys always interrupt top
Sorry.
points. No, anyways, Robin, without any points, off the cuff, 2. Terrible. Not hot. Boo. Whiny. He didn't even really do any day saving. He just kind of saved himself.
He just bitched and moaned for
He
2
didn't
hours.
even save himself. Batgirl saved him. So, oh my God, can we go back? That was also one of my least favorite lines.
Which one?
When she was like, he was like, "I got you," and she's like, "No,
I got you.
I got you." Boo, trash.
You know that the writer probably like put his pencil down and was like, yes.
It's a good day.
Cracks his
Still
knuckles,
got
yeah.
it.
When he wrote that.
And when he fell in all that goop, that's so embarrassing.
yeah.
It was, yes.
That man just tossed him in
100%.
some goop and was like, yep, that's
He had
that.
to climb out of there. Gross. Anyways, Batman. Also didn't write down any points for him because I was just so appalled this whole movie to think of hotness.
Yeah.
It's just, it was not a hot movie.
Movie sucks.
But again, off the cuff, I'm going to give him like a 4.
Now, what about Freeze?
Not hot. Well,
He loves his wife.
he does love
Yeah,
his
he's
wife,
dedicated.
but he's not hot. He's not hot.
He's cold.
He's
Arnold's
very cold.
hot.
He's
Give
very
him some cold points.
Cold points. 10 cold points.
Yes.
He's the
Love it.
coldest man that's ever been.
Put him on the wall.
That's an ice ranking.
No,
Like
I don't know.
nice.
Like George Clooney, like
Very ice of you.
Yeah.
very ice of you.
Stupid.
George Clooney's physically attractive, but again, the attitude, the wooden performance, nah, no.
I like that they
Not hot in this
transport
movie.
Mr. Freeze to jail in a fridge. With the freezer door removed so
Yeah.
they can see his
I
head.
felt really bad for him when he was like outside of his freeze light and was like, poor guy, get him some cold.
Get him
I
some
don't know.
cold.
Get him some
He's got a
cold.
good heart in there. He just needs some like rehabilitation. He'll be okay. I can fix him. Like,
But Bane's hot, right?
no,
No.
he's not even a man. Like, he's in
So,
a mask. most of the
Nobody's
movie.
hot.
Nobody's hot.
Just a trash fire for
Yeah.
hot points.
Yeah, no hot points. Blech.
All right, let's do the worst unnecessary hit or miss of all time. This movie sucks. Miss for you.
Miss.
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 It's a miss.
Yeah, one of
It's a
the
miss.
only our like third or fourth movie that's complete miss.
I don't know if have we ever all given
Gone
him
with
a
the Wind had to have been a miss for everybody.
Yeah.
West Side Story probably was a miss for. No?
I think I gave that one a mid.
Yeah, you suck,
Ooh.
dude. That's dumb.
I didn't hate West Side Story.
That's dumb.
Didn't love it.
That movie's so bad.
It was mid.
I literally, and I said this in the episode, it would have been a better movie if she shot herself in the head at the end of it.
Yep.
Which is more true to Romeo and Juliet.
It is way more
Yeah.
true to
Maybe
So,
Romeo.
like,
I did
what?
give a miss.
If she
don't
covers,
remember.
if she covers both gangs,
You probably convinced me to give a miss by the end of the episode.
I hope so. If she covers both gangs in the pink mist from her head, dude, at the end of that movie, that's a better movie. But they pulled that punch, and for that, it suffers. That
Yeah.
movie sucks, and it's a bunch of white dudes in brown face. It's not a good movie, and if you're a bad person, if you like it,
Oh,
wow.
all the musical theater fans just turning this off right now.
listen, what are they gonna do? Fight me? They're musical.
They could.
They were
They
watching the
could.
Batman and Robin episode.
They could tap dance. They could tap dance their way over.
They
and,
are
like,
musical theater fans, and I am looking at a
Listen,
sword in the corner of the
They
room.
could
I'm
know
good.
how to like stage fight. That's basically
stage
fighting.
fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to real fight. I'm pretty confident I could beat someone who knows how to stage fight.
All right. Just saying.
Freaking musical
Just saying.
theater kids, dude. Oh, they're sashaying towards me. Oh no! Like, dude. Should we play 20 questions?
Let's play
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
questions.
20 questions. It's Nick's turn for the uninitiated. 20 questions is a game that we play at the end of every episode now for this is our third week in a row,
Third
which means it's a
time.
regular bit. Lasted longer than the
Ayy.
news did. We have a collective, me, Carl, and Daniel have a collective pool of 20 questions to guess a movie that Nick has picked. This will not be just any movie. It is a movie from our list of roughly 18 months of movies that we have watched for this show. So if you want to play along, pull up the YouTube, pull up your podcast app, and pull up the list of movies and play along with us because that's the list that we have to draw from. Now, you have to keep track of questions. Can you count to 20?
Oh, good call. Let me get a little.
Get a
yeah,
little-
I can count to
Can
20.
you count to 20?
All that
Did they cover that in
DuPont,
West Virginia?
yeah, that DuPont water you had to be drinking, dude. All right. Who wants to go first?
Not me. I don't have
All
one.
right. Is it before or after 1990?
After
After 1990.
Did we watch it this year or last year?
last year.
I haven't
Ooh.
had the list pulled up.
Um,
Male lead?
Yeah.
Okay.
he hesitated.
He
What does it
hesitated.
mean? Is it animated?
No.
Okay, so it's not Robin.
Not Spirited Away.
Or Spirited Away.
Um,
After 1990, we watched it this year. Did I like it?
Wait. Sorry. We did not watch it this year.
Okay, we watched it last year. Okay, thank you. Did I like it?
Yes.
I liked it, and it was an immediate yes. So it's not a Scorsese film.
So
Is
it a
could
comedy?
Could it? Yeah, exactly.
what?
Is it a comedy?
No.
Okay.
What movie is it?
That counts as a question.
Does it involve sports?
No.
Okay.
I'm like blanking on questions.
Does it
to watch.
involve comics in any way?
No.
Okay.
Is it in color?
Yes.
That removes 2 movies.
It's got a male lead.
Is
and
it a western?
No.
A male lead, but
Has
he
it
hesitated.
okay? Has it come out after 2020?
No.
Okay, it's not Dune. It's not Batman. Is it Blade Runner 2049?
Nope.
No, you
Does it
said
have
we
visual
watched it.
effects like that though, like computer effects?
Last
We
year.
watched 20. Oh, last year. Jesus.
Do what, girl?
Does it have like computer effects like that?
No.
Okay.
Dang.
I don't fully know what you mean.
Like CGI.
No, not really.
Okay.
Is it considered a great movie by the masses?
Yes.
Is it a Tarantino?
Yes.
Is it Pulp Fiction?
Yep.
Got it.
Oh.
Question
okay.
16.
Ooh, that was
I just
Male lead was
well, that's why I hesitated because there's like multiple there's multiple storylines.
That's true.
but they're all men for the most part.
You know what I kept getting tripped up on? I kept looking at movies this year. I just completely disregarded the multiple times you said.
I just wanted us to remember Uma Thurman in a good role.
Uma Thurman.
Good role. Good lord.
Good.
Uma Thurman in a good role.
Nick is baby talking now. It's time to go night night. It's time to give him his bottle and tuck him in. So, this superhero month, we're going to continue that. We have 2 more movies to go. And the next one, we should and will have a special guest.
Special guest.
I will not reveal who it is. I will
Suspense.
save that, but I did secure the guest.
I'm excited.
So we will have a 5-man show once more, and we are going to watch. I have never seen this nor any film in the DC cinematic universe at all. So we're going to
Wow.
pop my proverbial DC cherry with Henry Cavill in Man
Oh.
of Steel,
All right.
which from what I understand is not a good movie. So it should be interesting.
Henry Cavill. We stand.
A tightless Superman, which is a choice.
He-
So this isn't the one with the CGI mustache, right? That was
Yeah.
way.
Ah,
Wasn't that later?
I don't know.
Who cares?
That was Justice League.
Justice League.
Maybe.
Justice League.
I don't know.
I've only seen Henry Cavill in one thing, and it was like
Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, okay, 2 things.
The
That doesn't
Witcher?
count. Yeah, the first half of the first season of The Witcher.
He is way hotter in The Witcher than he is as Superman. Just saying.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
damn good Witcher, and I bet that show's going to drop off and get freaking canceled because now they have a Isn't it a Hemsworth?
It's Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, the worst Hemsworth.
What did he quit for? It was a bad move, right?
He was
No.
to go back to Superman and then
Oh.
rip.
Yeah, he quit because
That's right.
to go back
Who's
to
that?
Superman, and then James Gunn, is that the guy?
Yeah.
He took over DC and went, nope,
No more.
you're out.
I think there was a lot of like
So
backstory about The Witcher behind the scenes too. They weren't
Yeah.
they weren't being respectful of the source
They weren't doing it
material.
justice. Yeah.
So he also kind of left for that reason.
yeah, the writers directors kind of hated how Henry Cavill was like source checking them and kind of keeping them on point. And I believe the show, I could be wrong. I believe the show is more true in certain ways to the books than the video games, which is a sticking point. The video games are quite different from the books. So, and he's a huge nerd and he loves The Witcher. So he was kind of source checking. them
builds
and they got pissed
computers.
off.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then he was going to star in a Warhammer thing, which he loves Warhammer, and I think that got axed by Amazon or whoever. So, yeah,
Poor Henry.
he'll be fine. He'll land on his
Maybe
feet.
he'll be Wolverine or something
He's
in the new MCU.
He's just in a tough spot. 'cause
Cavalry and
He needs to be in something where
Yep.
the creators and directors care about that thing as much as he does.
So, yeah,
I
he'll
want,
find his
I
way.
want that for him.
He didn't make
good
enough
actor.
money to be his own producer now.
I think he was going to be for Warhammer. I think. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think. Anyway, I digress. We're gonna watch Man of Steel. We're gonna get the hell out of here because we've been talking for way too long about a movie that nobody should watch. Hey, if you watch Batman and Robin, sorry. Go watch the Batman. That's a good Batman movie. He's a detective, and
Coming back to theaters
Pattinson's nice to really.
later this year. Yeah.
Oh, and the freaking Penguin show is soon, right? Isn't that this month?
Oh, that's
Maybe
Synergy.
next
17th, you said?
No, Synergy is what I said.
Synergy.
Synergy.
Yeah, that's a good.
Comes
business
out
move.
soon, so I'm hyped for that.
Yep.
And I'm a little worried because it seems like the DC universe is going to cast a different Batman than Pattinson.
That would be
for
so
its
dumb.
Cinematic thing. I'm kind of fine with fractured. Like, let Batman be Batman. We don't. We talked about this with Deadpool. I'm sick of cinematic universes. Can we shrink down movies again, dude? Please. All right, boys and girls. Man of Steel next. Do your homework. Watch the movie. We have a special guest. I'm very excited. He knows things about Superman. It should be one of the more informed podcasts we've ever had. Hey, we'll catch you on the next one.